My dear boys and girls, this is MD Rejaul Islam. Today we want to discuss about the light independent phase of photosynthesis and anaerobic respiration from chapter 4 bioenergetics. So dear boys and girls, let's start. First of all, it is a light independent phase or dark phase. So first question it is what is a light independent phase or dark phase? So the definition is the phase of photosynthesis where light doesn't take part is called a light independent phase or dark phase. This phase of photosynthesis it takes place in the stroma of plastid. What is the stroma? The matrix of plastid, it is plastid or chloroplast, it is called the stroma. In this phase, carbohydrates are produced by the reduction of carbohydrates are produced by the reduction of carbon dioxide with the help of ATP and NADPH2 that are produced in the light phase. In the green plants, the pathways of carbon dioxide reduction have been identified, and there are three types, such as Kelvin cycle, Hash and Slug cycle, and Crassulacean acid metabolism or CAM cycle. What about Kelvin cycle? In 1947, scientists M. Kelvin, A. Benson, and J. Basham of California University discovered the carbon reduction way of plants. This is called Kelvin cycle or Kelvin-Basham cycle. In this cycle, the first stable product is 3-carbon compound 3-phosphoglyceric acid. And for this reason, this cycle is also called C3 cycle. And the plants which follow this cycle during their light independent phase, the plant or it is called C3 plants. This is the scientist of Melvin Calvin, lifespan it is 1911 to 1997, and he was awarded Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1961. Then look, it is about Hash and Slug cycle. In case of Hash Slug cycle of light independent phase of photosynthesis, the first stable product is 4-carbon compound oxaloacetic acid. First stable product oxaloacetic acid, and oxaloacetic acid is a 4-carbon compound, and for this reason Hash Slug cycle it is also called C4 cycle. And the plants which follow this cycle during the light independent phase of photosynthesis are known as C4 plants. The example of C4 plants it is maize, sugarcane, other plants of grass type, motha grass, amaranthus, etc. These are the C4 plant. This is maize, this is sugarcane, and this is amaranthus. These are the plants of C4. Then CAM for Crassulacean acid metabolism. This is another pathway of carbohydrate production, that is a light independent phase. The xerophytic plant, especially the cactus plant, they follow this cycle during their light independent phase. And CAM cycle it is just like the cycle of C4 cycle. This is the outline of the process of Kelvin cycle. This is the total cycle, Kelvin cycle. Here, look at here, this is the ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate. Ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate, it is the acceptor of carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide react with ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate and produce an unstable 6-carbon compound. It is called keto acid, and an enzyme, Rubisco enzyme, helps in this reaction. Because of instability, because that means the keto acid is unstable, and for this reason this keto acid breaks down in presence of water and produce 2 molecules of 3-carbon compound 3-phosphoglyceric acid. And this 3-phosphoglyceric acid, this is the first stable compound of light independent phase of Kelvin cycle, and for this reason the Kelvin cycle is also called C3 cycle, and the plants which follow this cycle during their carbohydrate production process, that plants are called C3 plants. Kelvin cycle, atmospheric carbon dioxide enters the cell through the stomata of the leaves. This is number one. First of all, the carbon dioxide being incorporated in 5 carbon compound ribulose 1,5 bisphosphate in the cell and forms an unstable 6 carbon intermediate compound, namely keto acid. Immediately, because keto acid is unstable, and for this reason immediately this unstable keto acid compound is broken down and form 2 molecules of 3-phosphoglyceric acid. These 2 molecules of 3-phosphoglyceric acid are the first stable compound of this cycle, of this Kelvin cycle. So, as the first stable substance produced in this cycle is 3 carbon compound 3-phosphoglyceric acid, this is why this cycle is called C3 pathway. Using the ATP and NADPH2 that produced in the light phase 3-phosphoglyceric acid, this 3-phosphoglyceric acid is transformed into 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde and dihydroxyacetone phosphate through many different consecutive chemical reactions. Carbohydrates are produced in one way, and in another way ribulose 1,5 bisphosphate continues to be formed from 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Resynthesized ribulose 1,5 bisphosphate mixing with a molecule of carbon dioxide and again enters into the Kelvin cycle. So during the formation of molecule of a glucose from 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, the Kelvin cycle will circulate for 6 times. Then next it is the features of C3 plant. The carbon dioxide acceptor of C3 plant, it is ribulose 1,5 bisphosphate. The first stable compound is 3 carbon compound 3-phosphoglyceric acid. During photosynthesis only Kelvin cycle is carried out. Why this line is written here? Why? Because in case of C4 plant, the C4 plant follow both the C3 cycle and C4 cycle. But in case of C3 plant, it follows only the C3 cycle. And this is why it is written here that during photosynthesis, the C3 plant, it follow only the Kelvin cycle. The rate of photosynthesis in C3 plant, it is comparatively less than that of in C4 plant. All cells participating in photosynthesis have one type of chloroplast. Why it is written here like that? Because in case of C4 plant, there are 2 types of chloroplast, mesophyll chloroplast and bundle sheath chloroplast. And for this reason it is written here, all cells participating in photosynthesis have one type of chloroplast. The optimum temperature for this process is 10 to 25 degrees Celsius. The plants cannot tolerate high intensity of light. In case of C3 plant, the C3 plants cannot tolerate high intensity of light like the C4 plant. Again, features of C4 plant, the carbon dioxide acceptor is a phosphoenol pyruvic acid. The first stable compound is 4 carbon compound. This is why it is called C4, 4 carbon compound oxaloacetic acid. During photosynthesis, both the Hash and Slug cycle and the Kelvin cycle are carried out. The rate of photosynthesis in C4 plants is higher than that of in C3 plant. All cells participating in photosynthesis have different types of chloroplast. I already mentioned it. It's a mesophyll chloroplast and bundle sheath chloroplast. In C4 plants, the optimum temperature, it is in case of C4 plant, the optimum temperature is 30 to 45 degrees Celsius. The C4 plant can tolerate high intensity of light. So this is about the light independent phase of photosynthesis. Now our next topic, it is anaerobic respiration. What is anaerobic respiration? The respiration which occurs in absence of oxygen, it is called anaerobic respiration. Why it is written as in absence of? Because aerobic respiration which occurs in the eukaryotic cell, it occurs in presence of oxygen. And in case of anaerobic respiration, it occurs in absence of oxygen. That is, in anaerobic respiration, respiratory substances, that means the glucose being partially oxidized with the help of enzymes and produce different types of organic compounds, for example, ethyl alcohol, lactic acid, etc. Carbon dioxide and some small amount of energy. Look at here. Here it is only 2 ATP, 66 kilocalorie of energy, and it produces ethyl alcohol or lactic acid. This glucose is partially oxidized and produce ethyl alcohol or lactic acid, 2 molecules of carbon dioxide, and a small amount of energy. It is about 56 kilocalorie energy per mole. Then what about the importance of anaerobic respiration? The importance of anaerobic respiration is like the fungi known as yeast is used in bakery and brewery industry. In fermentation process, yeast breaks down the sugar forming alcohol and carbon dioxide. Wine are produced by fermenting the juice of grapes. Apple on fermentation produce cider. All this process is used to produce bread in bakery. Due to anaerobic respiration of yeast, alcohol and carbon dioxide gas are formed. The bread becomes porous and lightweight due to the pressure of carbon dioxide gas while baking the bread. Alcohol on heat application escapes as steam. In this process, alcohol is produced in Bangladesh from molasses. Anaerobic respiration plays a major role in global nitrogen, sulfur, and carbon dioxide cycles through the reduction of oxyanions of nitrogen, sulfur, and carbon to more reduced compounds. Dissimilatory denitrification is the main route by which biologically fixed nitrogen is returned to the atmosphere as molecular nitrogenous gas. These are the importance of anaerobic respiration. And after completing these two topics, light independent phase or dark phase and anaerobic respiration, a creative question for you. Look at here the stem, look at the stem. It is 6 carbon dioxide, 12 water, here it is sunlight, here it is B, here it is A, 6 water and 6 oxygen. So this reaction, it denotes, it is the reaction of which one? Here it is the sunlight, here it is the water. So in presence of sunlight, only one process is occurs in presence. That means presence of sunlight is mandatory. In case of which one? In case of photosynthesis. So this is the process of this is the reaction of photosynthesis, and here this B, it is the chlorophyll, and this A, it is what, dear boys and girls? This A, it is the glucose. So look at here. What is CAM? I already mentioned this. What is CAM? Crassulacean acid metabolism. What do you mean by assimilatory power? This is from light dependent phase assimilatory power. We all know that ATP and NADP is 2. ATP, it is the assimilatory power. Explain how does above mentioned A? How does above mentioned A? Above mentioned A, I already mentioned. It is the glucose. So explain how does above mentioned A produce in plants? So you have to write down the light independent phase or dark phase or carbon dioxide reduction reaction pathway of plants. And next, the existence of all living creatures directly or indirectly depends on the above mentioned process analyzed logically. The above mentioned process, it is the photosynthesis process. So at first you have to identify the process like this. The above mentioned process, it is photosynthesis process, and the existence of all living creatures directly or indirectly depends on the above mentioned photosynthesis process. Like, then you have to write down the importance of photosynthesis. So my dear boys and girls, this is all about today, and thank you so very much. Try to solve the creative question at home. Be fine, everybody.